In terms of the musical sophistication, in terms of the magic and how evocative the story is, and the score, and the complexity and sophistication of the way the voices are weaved together in this ensemble. I mean, this rivals any opera that I've been involved with.
It took quite a long time before the story, as it is now, evolved. Anne Tomlinson had come to us with the idea of writing an opera for you guys, and she had certain parameters, and one of them was lots of little roles. And we tried out several stories. We had a story about fireworks, about rockets and squibs and Catherine wheels and things like that. And then we had an opera that began with the burial of someone's pet rabbit, which I think is really the beginning of Keepers of the Night. And we also wanted to have a story with magic in it. We wanted to have a story that was fun on the surface, but when you thought about it, had a little bit more elements to it, maybe. We also wanted to pay homage to some of our favorite operas. That's sort of really how it began.
But also a major issue was to use 65 trebles. You know, you think, what am I going to do? I'm going to make a piece for 65 trebles. How is everyone going to be heard? And so we came up with the idea that we wanted to have families in some kind of way. So we had a family of bats and a family of fireflies and so on.
Of course not.
Not?
You're a student, a mockingbird, a comedian. Don't you understand? Singing is a serious business. Serious business, serious business.
Do you think singing is a serious business, or?
Oh, that's a really good question. Why does the owl say that?
He thinks it's a serious business. And
That's
it's the same
kind of the
thing
way
that
he
he
is.
says, you know, he thinks that only birds can sing. So he's rather pompous and stuffy and narrow-minded. That's also why he thinks it's a serious business. But then there are other people, other than birds, who sing and sing rather well in this.
If differently.
This afternoon, I mean, if we can take everything that we've learned about the piece and put it into this performance and really make this the best one of all, I just want to say it's been a joy working with you all on the piece, and I'm grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to Anne, Mandy, Amy, Donald, Peter, and all of you. Thanks. Have a great show.
Tell me about the Bat Song. What's your take on the Bat Song?
Not like the classical music that most of us sing. It's mostly like rock.
All the words that I have heard, no words are really more uncertain. What I've heard from this old bird is logic upside down.
Are there dances in Keepers of the Night? Yes. Peter wrote them in, some galliards, some pavans as well. Now, we don't do the steps as historically they would have in those times, but dance is a part of Keepers as well.
To do right now is ask Miss Brem to play 3 little motifs from Keepers. What is that, everybody? Keepers of the Night. And every time you hear it, it's in a different kind of a little bit of a variation, but it's always identified with the Keepers. Keepers of the night. Next one. Nicole, who do you identify that with?
The Night Children.
The Night Children. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Variations on that as well. finally, what about this one? Does that happen? Oh, you're no contestant. Before each of the bird contestants, that's their little motive.
I wanted to write a piece where we were allowed to hear all of you. So we had to write a piece which was for a smaller orchestra. So it's not for a symphony orchestra, it's for an ensemble of 14 instruments, which is 14 soloists.
Although we did decide pretty early on that we wanted to have some other things to contrast with your voices. We wanted to have a couple of adults, which has gone up to 4 adults.
We haven't really had a chance yet to talk about the different voice types, so I want to just briefly go over those and then we'll pick out what voice types we're hearing in the different excerpts we hear. Let's think about our people in our Keepers cast. How would you classify the voice of the moon, Selena?
Soprano.
Soprano. And actually, she is a special kind of soprano. Here I've got 3 types of sopranos written down: the coloratura, the lyric, and the dramatic. Coloratura, the word in its usage is mostly always applied to sopranos. So we think of it that way, but it actually means able to move very rapidly. So when you hear those rapid passages and those beautiful trills that Lynette does, that's coloratura. What about Lauren Liba? What part do you think, what voice type do you think she has? Heidi?
Soprano.
She's a soprano as well. Probably a lyric, but she also has the ability to sing those coloratura parts.
But my teacher is a creature who lacks the sense of humor. He's entirely a consumer of grandeur.
How about Malcolm, our Oslid? What would you say, Isaac?
Baritone?
He's a baritone.
Do they think they are? Oh, silly creatures.
And then, who have I forgotten? What about Susanna? Nicole.
Mezzo soprano.
She's a mezzo soprano.
I am just the sweetest raccoon till someone steps on me, then I get kind of cranky. I can't help it. I get cranky. Do you know I have a phobia about footwear?
Recitative sounds like what word in English again?
Sounds like recite.
Recite, or to speak. So recitative carries the action of the opera.
Don't reject me, Rosalind!
Selina.
And then the aria usually follows a recitative, is written to show the singer's emotion about the action.
How do you think of the name of the opera?
We like this idea of sort of guardianship, that all these creatures out there in the forest were looking after the forest. They were part of it, but they were really looking after it. It was their territory, their space. They were creatures of the night, but they were something more than that. There was something about them that was almost a little bit sacred.